Most people believe that the refrigerator is the safest place to keep food fresh. It's clean, cold, and feels like the responsible thing to do. But what if I told you, especially after the age of 60, that this habit might actually be harming your health? Some of the healthy foods you're storing in the fridge are quietly losing nutrients, becoming harder to digest, and even triggering inflammation in aging bodies. As we grow older, our digestive system becomes more sensitive, and our metabolism slows down. Chilling certain foods breaks down their natural structure, damaging enzymes, destroying antioxidants, and dulling flavor. Some even release compounds that cause bloating or interfere with nutrient absorption. It's a quiet shift, and most seniors have no idea it's happening. In today's video, we'll uncover 8 common foods that people over 60 should never refrigerate. You'll learn how these small daily choices can impact your energy, digestion, and even your joints. And you might be surprised to find that one of your healthiest staples could actually be holding you back. Have you been making this mistake for years without knowing? What do you think might be the real culprit hiding in your fridge? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to protect your meals, your health, and your peace of mind, stay with us until the end, because your refrigerator may be hiding more than you think. You reach into the fridge for a tomato, it's wrinkled, dull, cold to the touch. You slice it anyway, but the flavor's gone. And later, your stomach feels unsettled. You thought you were eating something light and healthy. But that cold, sad tomato may have just done more harm than good. Tomatoes are often stored in the fridge for convenience. But for seniors, that simple habit can have surprisingly unpleasant consequences. When a tomato is chilled below 50 degrees centigrade, its cell walls begin to break down. This doesn't just ruin its texture, it alters the very compounds that make tomatoes both flavorful and nutritious. The natural sugars and acids no longer balance. Antioxidants like lycopene, powerful protectors of heart health, start to degrade. And the enzymes that aid digestion, they become less active. But here's where it becomes more serious. As we age, our digestive systems become more sensitive to temperature shifts and food consistency. A cold, mealy tomato can be harder to digest, potentially leading to bloating or mild inflammation. And for older adults trying to support joint and heart health, those lost antioxidants can quietly add up meal by meal. It's not just about taste or texture. It's about whether your food is supporting your aging body or making it work harder. Instead of refrigerating tomatoes, store them at room temperature away from direct sunlight. They'll ripen more evenly, retain their nutrients longer, and taste better. You'll get more of that rich lycopene, support smoother digestion, and most importantly, avoid unnecessary digestive stress. It might seem small, but choosing how to store your food is one of the simplest ways to protect your health as you age. And this next food, it's even more surprising because you've likely been told your whole life to keep it cold. If you're learning something new today, tap the like button. It helps others discover how simple choices like this can protect their health too. You reach for a clove of garlic thinking strength, immunity, heart health. But this time, it's soft, sprouting, rubbery. It lost its smell, lost its power. Turns out, the fridge didn't help. It weakened the very thing you needed to stay strong. Garlic is one of the most celebrated natural medicines in the kitchen. But when it's stored in the fridge, especially in cold, humid environments, its benefits begin to fade. Here's what happens. Cold temperatures trick garlic into thinking it should start growing again. It begins to sprout, producing bitter compounds and losing allicin, the very element that gives garlic its anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial power. Sprouted garlic isn't dangerous, but it's far less effective, especially for older adults who rely on garlic to support blood pressure, immunity, and heart rhythm. And there's more. Fridge moisture can lead to mold, soft spots, or rot, especially if garlic is left unpeeled or in plastic bags. The result? You lose flavor, texture, and most importantly, the medicinal value that garlic is loved for. For seniors, every bite counts. You don't just eat for taste anymore, you eat to maintain energy, circulation, and resilience. So why throw away garlic's most powerful qualities by chilling it into weakness? Store garlic in a dry, dark place like a pantry. Keep it in a breathable container like a mesh bag or ceramic garlic keeper to maintain airflow and reduce humidity. This keeps garlic potent, sharp in flavor, and rich in the compounds your body needs. If you've been storing garlic in the fridge for years, you're not alone. But now you know better. And that knowledge can quietly support stronger blood vessels, better immune defense, and even improve memory over time. And while garlic may have surprised you, the next food is even more deceptive because it looks healthy on every label. Over 70% of older Americans refrigerate their bread to keep it fresh. But cold air doesn't just make it stale faster. It turns a healthy slice into a hard-to-digest block that can bloat your belly and spike your blood sugar before lunch. Whole grain bread is often seen as the healthier alternative, fiber-rich. Complex carbs, steady energy. But when you store it in the fridge, its texture, chemistry, and digestibility change fast. Cold temperatures cause bread to go stale through a process called retrogradation. The starch molecules crystallize and push water out, making your bread feel dry and rubbery. But what's more important is what happens inside your body. That hardened starch becomes resistant starch, which is harder for older digestive systems to break down. Instead of fueling you gently, it can cause bloating, irregular bowel movements, and discomfort after meals. Even worse, when bread is harder and drier, many seniors toast it more or chew it longer without realizing they're triggering higher glycemic response. That means a sharper spike in blood sugar, followed by a faster crash in energy, something no one needs after 60. You've probably felt it, that sluggishness after breakfast, the bloated belly, or the uneasy digestion that seems to show up more often. And you might have blamed age, or just how your body works now. But the truth is, small habits, like refrigerating bread, may be working against you every day. To keep whole grain bread at its best, store it in a bread box or sealed container at room temperature. If you're worried about mold or don't eat it fast enough, freeze individual slices and thaw them as needed. This preserves texture, prevents sugar spikes, and keeps your gut calm and happy. Sometimes, what you think is saving food is actually costing you comfort. And the next item, it's small, juicy, and often tossed into smoothies, but it may be silently draining your minerals. Have you ever reached for a bowl of strawberries or blueberries, only to find them mushy, flavorless, or covered in that soft white fuzz? And did you still eat them, thinking they're fruit? They must be good for me. Now imagine what's happening inside your body if you're eating berries after that breakdown starts. Berries like strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries are celebrated as antioxidant powerhouses. They support your brain, heart, and immune system. But here's the twist, they're also among the most fragile fruits. Once refrigerated, especially in a sealed container, berries begin to degrade fast. Moisture builds up. Mold spores spread. Their outer skin breaks down, reducing their vitamin C and polyphenol content, the very compounds that make them so protective. Now, for younger adults, the body might cope. But for seniors, it's different. your immune defenses are lower, gut sensitivity is higher, and consuming berries that are just past their peak can lead to unexpected issues like gas, mild nausea, or even low-grade inflammation. The problem isn't just visible mold, it's the invisible microbial bloom that starts before the fuzz appears. If you've ever felt discomfort after a healthy snack, or wondered why your digestion feels off after breakfast, it might not be the fruit itself. It might be how and when you're eating it. Instead of keeping berries in the fridge for days, buy smaller quantities and eat them the same day. Or better yet, store them in a shallow container lined with a paper towel, slightly ajar for airflow. This slows spoilage while keeping them dry and crisp. And for frozen berries, use them directly in smoothies. Don't thaw and store. It's heartbreaking to see something as healthy as berries lose their benefits just from the way we store them. But what's even more surprising, the next item is something creamy, comforting, and most people refrigerate it without question. You've made the switch to whole grain bread thinking it's a smarter, healthier choice. But if you're storing it in the fridge, you might be undoing those very benefits. Let's take a closer look at what really happens. You traded white bread for something denser, richer in fiber, and closer to nature. But now it's dry, chewy, almost rubbery after sitting in the fridge. It's hard to chew, and somehow harder to digest. Here's the kicker: refrigerating whole grain bread may be making it more taxing on your gut than refined bread ever was. Whole grain bread contains natural oils from bran and germ layers. These oils are sensitive to cold. When refrigerated, the starch in bread undergoes retrogradation, a chemical shift that hardens the structure and makes the bread tougher and less palatable. It feels stale, even when technically fresh. But that's not all. Over time, the cold environment draws moisture from the bread, creating a dry texture that's difficult to chew and harder for older teeth and gums to manage. For seniors, especially those with reduced saliva production or dental issues, this can lead to slow chewing, poor breakdown in the mouth, and digestive strain. And here's the hidden problem. As the bread dries out, you're more likely to toast it harder, chew less, and swallow bigger pieces, which puts more pressure on the stomach and intestines. Plus, many whole grain loaves are made without preservatives. So even in the fridge, mold growth can still occur, but often in corners or crevices we don't notice. If you've ever felt bloated, overly full, or sluggish after a sandwich, it may not be the ingredients inside, it might be the way your bread has changed. Keep your whole grain bread in a cool, dark cabinet, tightly sealed. Only refrigerate if absolutely necessary, and if you do, slice and freeze instead. Frozen slices retain texture better and can go straight into the toaster without compromise. This simple tweak can help preserve not just taste, but also your energy, digestion, and satisfaction from something as everyday as toast. We all want to make healthier choices as we age, but sometimes the very steps we take with good intentions quietly work against us. And the next food on the list, it's creamy, widely loved, and surprisingly controversial for seniors. Did you know that refrigerating garlic can double the risk of bacterial growth without any smell, taste, or visible warning? That smooth clove in your fridge may be silently cultivating danger. Garlic is often celebrated as a heart-healthy, immune-boosting superfood. But when you refrigerate it, the cold and humidity can actually work against you. Here's what happens. The cool, moist environment inside the fridge encourages garlic to sprout, sending out green shoots. These sprouts don't just change the taste, they reduce allicin, the very compound responsible for garlic's anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial benefits. Worse yet, When chopped garlic is stored in oil and then refrigerated, a common practice, it creates the perfect low-oxygen condition for a rare but deadly bacteria, Clostridium botulinum. This bacterium produces botulinum toxin, one of the most powerful toxins known. And for older adults with weakened immunity, the risk, though small, is very real. What's more, even if you're not mixing it with oil, sprouted or cold-stored garlic can become harder to digest for aging stomachs. It may trigger bloating or even upset digestion, especially when consumed raw. Instead of helping your gut, it could quietly make meals more uncomfortable. If you've ever felt unexpected stomach discomfort or bitterness in your favorite dishes, your garlic might be part of the reason. That creamy clove you trust may have changed inside the fridge without you knowing. The fix is simple. Store your garlic bulbs in a cool, dry, well-ventilated space like a pantry or hanging basket. Avoid airtight containers and moisture. Use within a few weeks, and always check for sprouting before use. By skipping the fridge, you protect both the flavor and the full health benefits of this powerful plant. Sometimes, even foods we think of as medicine can turn against us when stored the wrong way. And coming up next, we'll look at a popular breakfast item that loses half its value the moment it touches cold air. You thought keeping bread in the fridge would stop it from going stale, right? What if I told you it actually makes it go bad faster? Yes, refrigerating your daily toast might be shortening both its shelf life and your digestive comfort. Bread seems innocent. A slice in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, it's a staple. But the moment you put that loaf in the fridge, things start to change. The cold temperature causes retrogradation, a process where the starch molecules recrystallize. What does that mean? Your bread becomes dry, chewy, and loses its fluffy texture far quicker than if it were left at room temperature. But it gets worse. That dryness is deceptive because the fridge introduces moisture fluctuation, which increases the risk of mold growth. And mold on bread isn't just a green patch on the crust. It spreads invisible roots deep into the loaf, often before you even see anything. For seniors with more sensitive digestion or weaker immunity, that can spell trouble. From mild gut irritation to more serious fungal exposure. Have you ever eaten a piece of toast and thought, "This tastes off, but it looks fine"? What you couldn't see may already have made its way into your body. Here's what to do instead. Store bread in a cool, dry bread box. Only refrigerate if it's truly hot and humid, and even then, wrap it tightly in paper, not plastic, to prevent condensation. Better yet, slice and freeze what you won't eat within a few days. Frozen bread, toasted straight from the freezer, retains its structure and nutrition far better than refrigerated slices. So the fridge isn't always your friend. And our final item might surprise you the most because it's something many seniors eat to feel clean and healthy. But when kept cold, it might be doing the exact opposite. You thought keeping bread in the fridge would stop it from going stale, right? What if I told you it actually makes it go bad faster? Yes, refrigerating your daily toast might be shortening both its shelf life and your digestive comfort. Bread seems innocent. A slice in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, it's a staple. But the moment you put that loaf in the fridge, things start to change. The cold temperature causes retrogradation, a process where the starch molecules recrystallize. What does that mean? Your bread becomes dry, chewy, and loses its fluffy texture far quicker than if it were left at room temperature. But it gets worse. That dryness is deceptive because the fridge introduces moisture fluctuation, which increases the risk of mold growth. And mold on bread isn't just a green patch on the crust. It spreads invisible roots deep into the loaf, often before you even see anything. For seniors with more sensitive digestion or weaker immunity, That can spell trouble. From mild gut irritation to more serious fungal exposure. Have you ever eaten a piece of toast and thought, "This tastes off, but it looks fine"? What you couldn't see may already have made its way into your body. Here's what to do instead. Store bread in a cool, dry bread box. Only refrigerate if it's truly hot and humid, and even then, wrap it tightly in paper, not plastic, to prevent condensation. Better yet, slice and freeze what you won't eat within a few days. Frozen bread, toasted straight from the freezer, retains its structure and nutrition far better than refrigerated slices. If you've ever struggled to figure out what belongs in the fridge and what doesn't, you're not alone. Feel free to hit the like button or share this with a friend who might be unknowingly storing their food the wrong way. It could save them a lot more than just shelf space. So the fridge isn't always your friend. And our final item might surprise you the most because it's something many seniors eat to feel clean and healthy. But when kept cold, it might be doing the exact opposite. Today, we uncovered 8 everyday foods items you've probably placed in your fridge without a second thought. But as we've seen, storing the wrong things cold can quietly steal nutrients, trigger inflammation, and even increase risk of illness, especially as our bodies change with age. Your refrigerator is meant to protect your health. But sometimes, the smallest routines done with the best intentions can quietly undermine it. This video wasn't about fear. It was about awareness. Because the truth is, after 60, every choice we make, from what we eat to how we store it, has a deeper impact than we realize. And knowing what to change can bring back that quiet confidence in the kitchen, the kind that says, "My body still matters. My choices still matter." If this video helped you rethink a few habits, consider subscribing. We're building a space where wisdom meets wellness, and every week, we share small, practical tips to help you feel stronger, sleep better, and enjoy life a little more. What's one thing in your fridge right now that you're suddenly not so sure about? Let us know in the comments below. You might just help someone else who's wondering the same thing.